Hello, everybody, and welcome to this AFC South show number 126 here on Curtis's Podcast Network. I'm the host of the channel. My name is Curtis Brown, and I'm the resident Texans fan here. But rest assured, if you are a Texans, Titans, Colts, or a Jags fan, you've come to the right spot. We usually have representation for all four, but this week, joining me as always, Isaiah, a.k.a. Duval's finest, a.k.a. the Glitter Kitty Tamer, a.k.a. I can't think of anything that's not vulgar, so we're gonna move on to our resident Colts fan, Big Steck. Speak softly and carry a big steck. Yeah, it's early, so welcome to the channel. We're gonna be breaking down the games of Week 12 for the AFC South, and we're gonna have some fun this morning. We don't have a Titans fan, so we're gonna be kind of making it up for them as we go along. But yeah, it's Sunday morning. Gonna be dropping this as soon as we're done, and yeah, we're at 394 subscribers at the time of this recording, and we'd like to see that get up to 420 in the near future. The ultimate goal, of course, is 1,000. If you can read the sign behind me, that's the hunt. We're in the hunt for it. So trying to reach that monetization number, if you could help us along the way, that'd be huge. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new content that we may be putting out. Like goal on this episode, let's go 20. Seems like a pretty good number for a preview. And if we hit that, we'll go 25 the next episode. But as it stands, first game on our docket, Carolina's traveling to Tennessee in what should be one of the most underwhelming games of the day.
Cripple pie.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. The over-under on this game, 36.5 points. Very, very low. The lowest games we're going to be talking about this morning. But the Titans are favored for the first time in a while, 3.5 points over the Panthers. So
they're going to win like 4-3.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jesus.
The Titans haven't lost, or the only games they've won actually have been at home. So this is kind of their best shot to get on that winning track again. Not necessarily to say that they're going to, get the ball rolling, but, pick up a couple. Pick up a dub or two along the way. So who wants to dive on this grenade first?
Bryce Young's about to have a career day.
He very well could. If the Titans go in with the same game plan, they're not going to win any games. Henry ran 10 times last game. So I don't know. I feel like Vrabel's checked out. So I don't know, man. I feel like this is going to be a mess of a game.
Yeah. I don't know. The Titans their secondary is terrible. Even their run defense isn't as good as it has been in years past. They're halfway decent at best. Their fan base is stupid. People were posting stuff in these chats, and I actually left the AFC South Trash Talk group chat on Facebook because I just realized there's a lot more better things I can do than waste my time arguing with Colts and Titans fans all the time. No offense, Jeff. Dudes were in there like, oh man, you guys say that Trevor Lawrence is so much better than Will Levis. He threw just as many touchdowns. It's like you seem to forget the other two that he ran in as well. I was like, his weren't in garbage time. His actually meant something. Levis has kind of been a fraud since that first game. Just like I said, originally DeAndre Hopkins had a really good game. It wasn't really anything Levis did besides that one really good throw to Akina Westbrook, I think it was. But the 3 to Hopkins were nothing impressive. He just threw the ball deep, and Hopkins made an adjustment for him. Since then, he's been pretty trash. Not to mention that they got bailed out, against us and got that one long touchdown to Hopkins that he underthrew again. It's going to be an interesting one against Carolina. I think that both teams are terrible, and neither of them have a very explosive offense. So it could be, like I said, a career day for Bryce Young, just because that defense is terrible. But I could really see this being like a game of field goals, like like a 9-6, like 12-9, like 12-6 finish. If I had to like put a number on it, I'd say like 17-10 Carolina. That'll be my prediction. But I don't see this being a high scoring game. And if it is, it'll just be not because the offense is doing anything great, it'll just because the defense is just falling down the whole game.
Yeah. My little brother brought it up to me when I was talking to him about the Titans. He's a big Titans fan. He was talking about how
Poor
it's
bastard.
I know. He was talking about how it's really unfortunate that the only receiver worth a damn on the Titans is only worth a damn because he commits DPI on every play, but they just don't call it.
Yep.
During Will Levis's big breakout game, there was obviously that one touchdown where DeAndre Hopkins literally threw a man out of the way.
Yep.
There was no flag whatsoever. It was
hand fighting.
Yeah,
it was hand fighting.
I hand fight people all the way behind me.
Yeah, with my arms around them.
And just rip and spin. It's just
Yeah,
they got some problems. He's not even sure Will Levis is any good. He wasn't sure about it at all after that first game, basically because of the circumstances around Hopkins' touchdowns. And at NWI, Westbrook Akine, it was obviously the best throw of the game for him in that game, where he didn't have to have somebody DPI the hell out of a defender, but
yeah, they actually just beat the coverage. They didn't have to beat the defender physically to get open. They
didn't have to mug him at all, which is nice.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins is the Sauce Gardner of offense. They commit PI on every play. They just don't get called for it. But when they start getting called for it, it's going to be bad.
Yeah, when that tide turns.
Yeah, with the turntables.
Jeff, do you have a prediction for the score?
This could be either like a runaway for Carolina, just because of how bad, or this could be like a really sluggish, like Tennessee barely squeaks it out because they pounded the hell out of Derrick Henry. But I feel like it'll be like a 13-6 Panthers or something stupid.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure I chose Tennessee too. I'm about to go change that.
Yeah, I did choose Tennessee. I want to change it. Even if it's at home, I just have no faith in them.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I think we should have less faith in the Panthers.
If
the only team they've beaten was Houston, and they beat Houston via field goals. And they were able to throw the ball pretty well with Bryce Young. To date, I think it's literally his best game.
They only have one win?
Yeah.
Ooh, back-to-back first overall picks.
Maybe 13.
Oh, no, they traded theirs to the Bears.
I'll be generous to the Titans.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They traded this year to the Bears. Oh, man.
Yeah. So the Bears have their pick and the Panthers pick.
Technically, the Bears will have back-to-back first overall picks.
Yes, technically.
Even though they didn't make one of them. But, yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Leave it to the Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah, I'll be next to the Titans and change it 13-6 Titans. Just because it's long.
Yeah.
2 field goals and a touchdown. That's what I'll do.
I think the Titans have to view this as a must-win game, even though it's not. It's obvious that they're not playoff contenders this season. This is a game that you have to give the fans something. The Titans fans are irate and grasping at straws, trying to figure out a way to say that their team is good. I mean, throughout all of it, Derrick Henry's still been very productive behind a very shit offense. So I think the only thing that's safe to say about this Tennessee team is that Derrick Henry is still good. He's still Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
We just haven't seen as much of him as we're used to. By design or otherwise, but he's still number 2, I think, in the league in rushing, which is ridiculous considering every week we're on this show talking about how he needs to get the ball more. Because they've criminally underused the man. But I have the Titans winning this game, and I could see this game being kind of lopsided, but low scoring lopsided, if that makes sense. So I have the Titans winning 21-10, which is still under, but not like way under like you guys were doing. 13-6 and 17-10. Jesus hell.
So bad.
You know what's funny is that like Titans fans after our bye week were like, Derrick Henry has more rushing yards than Travis Etienne. And Travis Etienne
What's
passed
the
him
record?
again. So
What's the team's record?
yeah, exactly.
None of
Yeah,
that
Travis
shit
Etienne passed him again, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. All right.
Good times.
Let's talk about this Tampa Bay Indianapolis game. Jeff, if you've got the injury report in front of you, maybe who's in, who's out, let us know. And then give us your ways to win.
Both Juju Brents and Ogletree didn't practice all week this week, and they're out. Man, it's a quad thing with Juju Brents, and I feel like it's been every week since he made that diving attempt at a pick. It's just I don't know if it's more serious than they're letting on. I have no idea. Their linebacker Grant Stewart is questionable, has a chance to play. He was limited Friday, and Ryan Kelly was a surprise out. Their center, he was limited full, and then didn't participate Friday. So I'm guessing he had a setback with the second concussion of the year. So he is not playing.
Okay.
They got. It needs to be with Minshew. We need to see limited Minshew. If he's out there throwing it 30 times, I think that's never a good thing. You've got two great backs in Taylor and Zach Moss. Despite his limited usage, he's still one of the top yardage rushers. I think he's only had like a couple carries the last couple of games, but he had a huge start to the season. So it's like, even if you only feed Taylor like 15 times, Zach Moss should have another 10 or 15. Like, I don't know if I'm necessarily calling for a 50-50 split, but if you're worried about usage, then, throw Zach Moss in there. But either way, they need to run the ball. They've had issues at home winning games this year. They've been kind of like more of a road team win. I expect them to kind of change that around this week. They're only a couple games out of the division. They're only like I think a game or two out of the wild card. So, we definitely have a chance to make a run here in the final leg of the season. But yeah, it's going to have to be, kind of like what the Titans should be doing. It's going to have to be a run heavy. Like again, before their bye, they ran the ball 9 times on their opening drive and then just kind of didn't like a lot of the rest of the game. I think he had like 13 carries the rest of the game, which just didn't make sense. So, you just paid Taylor like $14 million a year. Run him.
Yeah.
The defense in the last couple of weeks has been kind of a ball hawking defense. I mean, they had a couple pick sixes with Kenny Moore. They had a couple interceptions against New England. They need to keep that going. It's kind of Captain Obvious. We need to turn the ball over, but just keep doing it. I mean, they've been right place, right time. The defense, the secondary has been quite a bit better. Against, I guess, not as great quarterbacks, but I mean,
details.
But I mean, it's been a pleasant surprise to see, the secondary getting turnovers, and they've been, I think they've only been rushing like 4. Gus Bradley hasn't been too aggressive, but they've been getting home to the quarterback, and it's been a lot of different players doing it. So they just need to be really aggressive, get after Baker Mayfield, throw him off his mark, and run the ball, control the clock. I do see Indianapolis winning. I'll say something like 24-17.
24-17. What did I do with my pen?
Good old Gus Bradley.
Yeah, he
Good
he
old.
needs to be more aggressive, man. Like there's a few games there where they let up, almost 40 points in a row, 3 times in a row. And, the last couple of weeks they've been a lot better, but he's still not being aggressive like I'd like him to be.
Hashtag prevent.
Yeah, it's infuriating. Like, why are you preventing on the first drive?
What'd you say your score was?
I think I said 24-17 Colts. Run the damn ball. Or run the fucking ball.
Yeah.
We can't say run the damn ball.
Yeah. Apparently, demarked, but whatever. Yeah, no, I don't. I get that they just paid. I get that they just paid what's his name, fucking Jonathan Taylor, all that money, but like for how good Zach Moss was at the beginning of the season, there's no reason he should be taking limited carries, especially when you have a backup. Quote. I wouldn't say he's really a journeyman at this point because he's only been on Jacksonville and the Colts. No, the Eagles too. Eagles.
Yeah. He's turning into Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, but he's a career backup, and he always will be. And there's no reason that he should be throwing 40 times a game when you have, 2021's leading rusher, and then Zach Moss, who is leading the league for, the first 6 to 8, first 5, 6, 8 weeks.
Yeah, and he missed week 1 too.
Yeah, and then he missed week 1. It makes no sense. Y'all's offensive line has been blocking really well against the run too. I mean, there's been very rare when you guys don't at least get a couple of yards on a carry. Unless you're playing Jacksonville, but whatever. Good run defense. But no, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me how they're running that. And then Gus Bradley. Yeah, I mean, he did it in Jacksonville too, and that's part of the reason that we lost in 2017 in the AFC Championship against the Patriots. He's one of those coaches that if you get up on another team, he's just going to sit back and prevent and let them throw all the short stuff, and he doesn't care instead of keeping his foot on foot on their throats. And he'll blitz right at the beginning of the game, and then as soon as you get anything going, he'll just be like, "All right, you 3 go after him. We'll give you a 4th every once in a while." So we'll see. It was kind of a shock again with the whole Shaq Leonard thing. I mean, kind of saw it coming, but at the same time didn't. In the middle of the season, at least. But you guys have some really good young cats on that team. It sucks that Juju Brents is out still, but again, y'all are looking really good for what we expected, and so I do think Tampa's going to win this game. Better line, I would say, on offense. And Baker Mayfield versus Gardner Minshew. I'm not really sure who I'm taking in that. I mean, in this case, I guess I'm taking Baker, but mainly because they have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Rashad White's been playing pretty well now that he's been healthy.
Mike Evans has me. that has me nervous.
Yeah,
especially with no Juju, man.
Well, even that Trey Palmer kid's been playing pretty good too. There, he's a first or second year. But yeah, I mean, I think the Bucs are a more complete team with the injuries to the Colts. I don't see it being a blowout or anything. I mean, I think it'll be like a 21-17, or maybe I'd say 24-21. Bucs win with a last minute field goal. But I don't see this one getting out of hand for either side. It could though, potentially, but any game technically could.
Yeah.
Did you happen to mention the in and out list for the Buccaneers?
I haven't. Hold on. No, I didn't.
Mel Dean is out.
Right.
Levante David is out.
That's a big one.
Mike Green is out. He's one of their edge rushers. These guys are questionable. Rashad White, Carlton Davis, Devin White, and defensive end Logan Hall.
Man, they got a long list.
See, it's nice I don't have to do that for my game because Curtis is going to do that. So,
yeah. I think this is going to be a competitive game. I think that this is a battle of two teams who are there was some expectations put on the Buccaneers to follow up Tom Brady's existence. And Baker Mayfield, to start the season, was living up to those expectations. And then since then has kind of fallen back down to earth, but it's not really been because of his
classic
play.
Baker.
It's not really been because of him per se.
Good.
The Bucs just in games where it seems like they should have it, they allow, the opposing team to drive down the field in 46 seconds for the go-ahead score.
Mhm.
They allow back breaking, and just anything, honestly, at any given moment. They're not a super well-coached team. Todd Bowles is not anybody who's going to strike fear into your heart. If you can just deal with the blitz that they're going to inevitably give you, you're going to be fine. And I think that the signal caller for the Colts, the Gardner and the offensive line, if they can be on the same page this week, then the protections will be very, very smooth, and they'll be able to pick up those blitzes, and Gardner should be able to dink and dunk and paper cut this defense to death. That's the way to win for me, for the Colts, and I actually have them winning this week. I'm going to have them winning, but the over-under is 45.5. I'm going to have the Colts throwing up a 30 burger. Let's go 31-24.
Not bad.
And that's over, baby. Isaiah, you're pushing at 45 points. And then Jeff, you're under. I guess you would technically also be under, but 45.5 is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is a game that the Colts can win. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are definitely quite a flawed roster, especially when you factor in the injuries. But they've been playing admirably in all of the games. So I would expect a dogfight, and I expect the Colts to go out there and get this dub. I mean, I don't know. It would take a complete collapse in my mind for the Colts to lose this game, and I just don't see that happening. Anybody else?
I think if Tampa Bay gets, if something janky happens, like the Colts receive first and then they fumble or whatever, like some janky shit where Tampa Bay gets ahead early. I don't know if the Colts are necessarily able to come back from like a 14 down or something like that. So I think that would be Tampa Bay's way to win.
Yeah,
because it just feels like when Steichen gets down, he just completely strays away from the run, and it's infuriating. But yeah. I think that's probably the way to handle it. But Colts
analytics will tell you no.
Analytics will tell you, yeah. But I do feel like the Colts should probably at least have a leg up most of this game.
Yeah. Because we didn't get into it for the Titans one. Here's the in and out list. Panthers, J.C. Horn on IR, C.J. Henderson out, Yatir Gross-Matos on IR, Jeremy Chin on IR, Hayden Hurst out. The Titans right tackle, Chris Hubbard on IR, Luke Gifford, the linebacker, questionable, Treylon Burks still out. That's the injury list according to ESPN.
Man.
Yeah.
Henderson's not playing. What a surprise.
Yeah. Wow. Could have never seen that one coming. Do you want to go or should I go?
Whatever you think, buddy. I'm kind of, in the King's Court right now, so, it could change after this week.
It could. We're going to see. All right, then I'll lead it off. Folks, this next game is the only head-to-head division game of the week. And as he mentioned, it is technically for the crown at the moment. 6-4 Houston, 7-3 Jacksonville playing in Houston this afternoon. Jacksonville, a 1.5-point favorite, 47.5 points on the over-under. The injury lists... Roy Robertson Harris for the Jaguars, questionable. Zay Jones, questionable. Tyson Campbell, out. Damian Pierce is expected to play today. Juice Scruggs was activated off of IR. I don't know that means he's necessarily ready to play, but if he does, that's something to watch because he might come in at center. There's a chance he could come in and play left guard. and they would move Titus Howard back out to right tackle, which means George Fant would be on the sidelines as the sixth offensive lineman. Case Keenum is the regular third quarterback. Jimmy Ward is out, and linebacker Jake Hansen is out. The Jimmy Ward thing is going to be hurting for certain. But before I get into the actual nitty gritty of this game, if anybody would have told me at week 12 we'd be talking about DeMeco Ryans as Coach of the Year candidate, that CJ Stroud not only would be leading the Offensive Rookie of the Year category for being, well, solid, he's in the MVP conversation. Tank Dell is in the conversation for Offensive Rookie of the Year. If anybody would have told me this, that at week 12, that we'd be here and I'd be saying those words, I would have said you're on crack. Just because of the way that the team was built and my little amount of faith that has been very, very seldomly rewarded in the last 3 seasons. I might have PTSD from all those losing seasons. But it is what it is. I'm excited as a Texans fan to see what's going to happen in the future. I'm excited to see what this team's got going forward, how we draft and everything. Because honestly, the expectation this season was not to be in playoff contention. It was just to be competitive. And I think we've met that standard at least. So hats off to the coaching staff. But we got a big game in front of us right now. This is the Jaguars. We put a whooping on them. What was that, week 3?
Yeah, week 3.
Went down to Jacksonville, put up 37 points on them, and walked away with a dub. We would be ridiculous to sit here and say that the Jags didn't have the rematch circled on the calendar immediately following that loss.
Oh, yeah.
This is an angry Jags team who just walked the Titans through that game. This is going to be a bloodbath, in my opinion. I think this is going to be the most heated game on the schedule, and this could very well determine who ends up being the representative of the AFC South in the playoffs. I do think that if we win, there's definitely a possibility that there's 2 teams that go to the playoffs from the South. But God damn it, it'd be cool if they were the champs. I have the Texans winning this game because I'm a homer, and I'll admit that openly. But even with them winning, in my mind, it's not going to be at all like it was in Jacksonville. If Houston wins, it's because they managed to outlast and survive like they did against Tampa. It's going to have to be, okay, the Jags just scored again. We need to go match that immediately. Or kick the game-winning field goal with Matt Amendola, who is the most terrifying kicker on the planet. Not even because of his physical presence. Dude's small. He's just very wildly inaccurate from time to time. But Damian Pierce is expected to play. Devin Singletary has been playing well. I expect them to try to lean in the run game. If they can get any of that going and build some play action up, they'll get some wide receivers open with Tyson Campbell out. I imagine that they'll have to spread the ball pretty well, and CJ Stroud's going to have to be on his A game and bounce back from his first 3 interception game of his career. So, CJ, this one's going to have to be all on you, brother. You're going to have to pull out the rabbit out of the hat and show all the doubters something. Got to show them something. I have the Texans winning, as I mentioned. I'm going to say the Texans win in a game that goes over 34-31. Last second kick. And I will let Isaiah, go.
Jeremiah, go ahead.
I was combining names.
You got so I didn't realize you guys are running the base 4-3 this year.
Yeah, cover 3-4-3.
Yeah, that's okay. That makes sense coming from. So is Blake Cashman starting at middle linebacker then for Denzel Perriman?
I think
Perriman's suspended, so
yeah, I think that's what it's
looks
been.
like he's second in command.
Yeah, and he's been playing
Okay.
admirably. He was
Yeah.
outside beforehand.
No, he's a solid player. He's not gonna. Oh wait, but he's currently listed as the sub linebacker. Never mind, we're good. So, yeah. Is what's his name still? Grenard's still healthy. That's good. That helps. But yeah, no. It's gonna be an interesting one. I don't think it's gonna be. Jacksonville they looked defeated last time. The Chiefs came in and outlasted them. Like on that kickoff return for a touchdown from Andrew Beck, is that his name? Andrew? Yeah. Like there was half of the return or half of the kickoff team was jogging. Poor tackling. Tank Dell got behind our secondary a couple times, just like, walked back there like he does against everybody. That's one of the reasons he was my top receiver in the draft, is because he has unreal route running and he has unreal burst in and out of cuts, which really popped on my radar at the Senior Bowl when I saw some videos that Jordan DeLugo had taken of him there. He's been damn good. Have you elevated any receivers? I know that I know Noah Brown's out for this game.
Yeah.
So it's Mechie, Tank Dell, and Hutchinson. Did y'all elevate anybody, or y'all just going to run a lot of 2 and 3 tight sets?
Well, I think we still got Nico.
Well, I know that let me see. I thought I saw that one of them was. Oh, never mind. It's 2 lines. So Jesse Matthews, Noah Brown. So you have Nico, Robert. Never mind. You're good.
Yeah.
They have 3 lines of receivers. But anyways. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We traditionally struggle against tight ends. So hopefully, we don't let the boy run all over us, because I was defending Evan Ingram all offseason about how he is better than Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz, apparently can slide for like 50 feet after he catches the football. So that's always a threat. It's just it's going to be a good game. I'm really disappointed in Damian Pierce this year. Big Gator fan, so it sucks to see him not doing as well, especially after he exploded onto the scene last year. But him getting that boost from Singletary, they've been running the ball really well now that Singletary's been taking the bulk of the carries. CJ Stroud continues to impress. Like I said, I was right. Whatever. But Jimmy Ward being out definitely hurts. Jalen Petrie is really good. But he's still young. He still makes some errors. Not to mention the fact that he had the pick and everything. But Stingley just had a halfway decent game last week. It wasn't anything crazy besides the interception, and they've still got Shaq Griffin for some reason. But hopefully he's on the sideline for your sake. He's on the sideline the whole game.
Yeah, I believe he will be. He is. He is now cornerback 4.
If Zay Jones can jog, he's going to play. And the statistics show that whenever Zay Jones plays, Calvin Ridley is a really good number 1 wide receiver. Because, Zay Jones plays, he's a guy that can catch any football you throw near him. And they're going to have to give him some respect whenever he's not playing. You've got Tim Jones and some other guys that are kind of mid, so you can put 2-3 guys on Ridley and then let the rest of them just kind of fall where they may. I think he's going to play. Roy Robertson Harris, he's all right. Tyler Lacey's a big dude. He's young. He makes some mistakes, but he can fill in. He's 6'5", 290 or 6'6", 290, something like that. He's a big dude. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Devon Hamilton, I don't really know. I don't know if they've actually officially scratched him or not. They keep on saying they're going to monitor his health. He's going to be on a snap count today, if anything, which sucks for us because, again, you guys have been running the ball well lately. And CJ Stroud, he's gonna destroy us if we don't get pressure up the middle. Trayvon Walker continues to have a really high pass block win percentage or pass rush win percentage. but our interior offensive line sucks, just like we saw last week, where Will Levis and CJ Stroud is going to be able to just step up in the middle of the pocket and walk out scot-free, even if, Allen and him do beat the tackles. But it'll be interesting. I'm hoping that Titus Howard doesn't move back out to right tackle because that's where he's best. But end of the day, we'll see what happens. I do have Jacksonville winning this game. I don't think we're going to be caught off guard by some of the plays like we were in week 3, where Tank Dell just, again, went for a nice leisurely stroll on the beach behind our defense. So I see this being a higher scoring game, though, than the other ones. The defenses are gonna do their thing, but at the end of the day, I think there will be a lot of points put up. Jacksonville's offense actually looked competent last week. They were playing the Titans, but still, I would say 31-27 Jacksonville wins.
Okay, that's firmly over.
Yep.
Something I want to say real quick before we let Jeff talk about it real quick. I don't really understand, as a Texans fan, I don't really understand the idea of taking George Fant off the field.
He's the best
for
linebacker.
Titus Howard. Like, I know that we paid Titus Howard a stupid amount of money for no reason. He had one decent season, and we were just like, yeah, let's back the truck up for him. Fant grades out basically the same as to what Titus Howard was doing production-wise at right tackle. So it's not really even like we have a drop-off there. At this point, I think the best situation is that we have Juice Scruggs come back and play center, and then we leave Titus Howard at guard, and you leave Fant at right tackle. I think that's the best lineup for us. But I know a lot of Texans fans out there wanting to see Titus Howard back at tackle because we paid him all that money. And to that, I say he should probably just go where the biggest hole is, because he has the ability to play guard and tackle. Unfortunately, the guard part is just not great. But that's just kind of the consistency level that he's brought since he was drafted. So I'm not surprised by that. I don't know why anybody else would be, but there are tons of Texans fans a little bit surprised by how poorly he's been playing. Jeff?
Yeah, just to hit on that, it kind of sounds like that's a similar situation to what they are with the Colts were with Shaq. Very expensive linebacker, and he was just being outplayed by the other ones. So I feel like that's kind of the same situation. Like you got to start the best performing players. I mean, so you can't, like, your heart is is the fan wants that person to to play up to their contract, but if they're just not, you got to start the others. But yeah, this is an interesting game. I mean, both of these teams have kind of laid up a couple of stinker games. It's the Texans and Carolina. There was the Jaguars and the Texans. This could be a really interesting game. This might be one of the games of the week. This could easily turn into kind of a shootout. There's CJ Stroud. Jacksonville has been aren't they like first in turnovers? First or second? Aren't they up there?
Like on offense, like creating turnovers, or
creating turnovers, like defense taking the ball.
Jaguars?
Yeah.
They are number 1 or number 2. Last time I checked, they have 17 turnovers.
Yeah. So that's, and with Stroud, throwing 3 last week, I think it's kind of red flag. But yeah, the Texans just have to play clean, play takeaway or keep away. They just can't give Jacksonville those opportunities to create those turnovers. That run game's gonna have to get going, or I guess keep going. Singletary's been doing really good. It'd be nice to see Pierce kind of get back to where he was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see this turning into a kind of a shootout. Stroud. I'm gonna kind of go against what you were saying, though. I feel like Stroud. They're gonna have to let Stroud do his thing to kind of open up the run for him. But yeah, I would say this will be another high scoring contest. I definitely would take the over.
Yep. Yeah, we have 20 turnovers. San Francisco leads us at 21, but we're number 2.
Number 2. Okay. Yeah, I'd probably go Jacksonville, kind of in a revenge game. Man, this is really hard. Like 30-27 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, there's it just seems like this is one of those games it's going to have a lot of points. For all those fantasy people out there, I have no idea who the hell you should start, but you should probably start somebody.
I do have a kind of a fantasy related question. I'm in a kind of a pickle. I asked in the text, and I'm going to go ahead and start Cup, but would you go like I really like the matchup that Downs has against Tampa, but would you start Ridley over Downs in this one? I really like Josh Downs' matchup.
I would say I would make it a game time. If Zay Jones plays, I'd start Ridley. If he doesn't, I'd start Downs.
They should be releasing that information here pretty quickly.
So. Yeah, just because like tradition, like since the beginning of the season, Calvin Ridley is a monster when Zay Jones is on the field, and he's kind of pedestrian without him.
Yeah, they should have that out here by like 10:30. So, I think it's 90 minutes before game time.
With Jimmy Ward out, they might try and push the field a little bit.
Yeah, opposite
of Petrie.
Yeah, and they'll have DeAndre Houston Carson filling in for Jimmy Ward. He's played admirably. He's got a pick. He had a pick against the Bengals.
Nice.
But, it's going to be an interesting game. It could go really either way. Just the homer in me. You know what I mean? All right. Well, I think we've come to a good end here. Boys, do you have any final comments?
Go Colts.
It was never the Titans. No. It was always the Jags.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming on and talking about your favorite teams and talking about who's in, who's out, ways to win, all that. I want to thank you all for watching. Go ahead and hit the like, subscribe button, like I mentioned at the top of the pod. 20 like goal on this episode, and I'd like to get us to 420 subscribers is the next small goal, but obviously 1,000 is the big one. So any effort to get us close to that would be great. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. And beyond everything, be good people.